Call to order the meeting of Wednesday, June 25th, 2014, for the Airport Advisory Commission. Would you like to join me for a pledge of allegiance to our flag? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A roll call.
Mr. Meeks?
Here.
Mr. Judd? Here. Mr. Machado?
Here.
Mr. Meyer?
Here.
Mr. Fisher?
Here.
Mr. Jackson is excused absent. Mr. Houston? Here. And I am here.
Okay. The next item, verification of agenda posting.
The agenda for the Airport Advisory Commission of the City of Hollister regular meeting of June 25th, 2014, posted on the bulletin board at City Hall on June 2nd at 10 a.m. per Government Code Section 54954.2.
Thank you.
June 2nd.
Okay, consent.
Okay.
Approve the minutes of the Airport Advisory Commission of May 21st,
Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
A second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Let's see, public input. Do we have any public input at this time?
We have a speaker card for the air show item, but nothing for public input at this time.
Okay. Next item is reports. A.
There are no reports this evening.
A, B, C.
And a sense of humor, too.
Nothing to report.
Nothing.
Okay, A, old business. New chairman.
We can skip that item if you'd like.
I can't run two consecutive terms. Okay, we are to elect a new chairman tonight. Do we have any motions for a new chairman on the floor?
And it can't be Fred.
I would like to nominate Dean Judd.
I'd second that.
I have a second.
Uh-oh.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Gordon,
You got it.
you sure you don't want to do this, Gordon?
You're getting the big hammer, and you run the rest of the meeting.
Is that it? Congratulations, you're the chairman.
Now you
Okay.
got the hammer.
Well, okay, let's see.
Next item.
8B, air show updates.
The best news about the air show is we had one minor audience injury due to lack of consumption of fluids. They had heat exhaustion and went down. Other than that, it was a perfectly safe event. And when you think about the propellers whirling and the pieces moving throughout the airport, the fact that the ramp is designed for airplanes to live on and not general public to walk around on with holes everywhere and everything else, it is a accomplishment that we had a very minor situation. It was addressed immediately by our fire department staff, and the person received the proper care and was transported.
Is that Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday. I think that was Saturday.
I must have seen the end.
Sunday was way too cool. Well, I'm gonna need to apologize for that. I have not had time to go in depth into the numbers at this time. In fact, I just signed invoices for the air show this morning that are still working their way through the process. I'm planning on giving the in-depth report to council in August. I should have it available for you guys in the July meeting. Oh, okay. So then I will hold off on giving it to the council until after I give it to you in the August meeting. So I won't give the in-depth report to council until September. A few things that are interesting is we actually had more gate than we've ever had. I briefly glanced at the advertising poll results, and it seems like no one saw any TV commercials. That wasn't mentioned. I saw one.
I saw quite a few.
So I know that they were aired, but I just don't think it's registering with people that way. So in the future, we need to re-examine that. We only had 4 people take the bus to the air show. We made a considerable investment to have the bus shuttle run, and I believe we need to look at that in the future also. As
Now, were there signs or postings that the public knew that buses were?
we handed out schedules at the farmers market. There were signs in the bus stops that was on everybody's website. So the information was available. In fact, it was on all our posters, I think, right? Yeah. So, and I printed 600 posters that all got put up, or at least all left the office.
Don't look at me, they were all put in
Sorry,
sidewalk and all over Hollister.
So,
And I gave them to people to give out who were going out of Hollister.
I've heard very good things about the air show. The city manager, in fact, started the department head meeting immediately after the air show with nothing but glowing accolades for the volunteers and everybody else involved. And I personally believe it was the best show that we've ever had. It just was amazing. So with that said, there is a public speaker card if you'd like to.
Sure.
Mrs. Sarah?
Thank you. I repeat what you said about it running smoothly, and I've been to each air show, and this one was the most smoothly run. It was very fluid in that regard. A couple of suggestions though was the vendors. It just seemed like there was only food, and it would have been more appealing public-wise if there had been more vendors other than food, just drawing in more and more airplane-related stuff. The other thing that I think is more important as far as the draw for the whole event, and that is getting the word out to clubs. You're going to have motorcycles there, you're going to have cars there, then advertise, send an email to the president of particular organizational type clubs like the BSA Owners Club, the Stearman Owners Club, get all those kind of organizations and send out an email, have them relay the information to their groups so that the information gets pulled in. That'll draw more for the air traffic, because we could have really used a lot more show planes and show vehicles, and since you had cars and motorcycles, it would have been nice to be able to expand on those. So those were the 2 areas that kind of came to mind after I had filled out the survey, because basically I thought things went very smoothly, and especially with the volunteer team, it was they really worked as a team, and it was nice. So that's my.
Tom, you guys for goodness, I have the best volunteers in the world. Could I ask you to state your name, by the way?
Margaret Sanzeri. I have a hangar at K-12.
Okay, especially for the TV.
Oh.
In fact, Ms. Sanzeri reminded me of something, one other thing that I noticed. In the past, we have offered a little car show during their show. And this year, to avoid from complications with what was going on across the street at the church, we elected not to compete with them. I know that hurt us. I know that we probably lost 10% attendance because we didn't have that.
Are you suggesting that maybe we don't worry about competing?
I'm suggesting that's another area that needs to be re-examined sooner rather than later, so we can let the church know what we're going to decide to do. Ruth just filled out one for.
I just wanted to go along with
Air
what
show.
Barbara said, that
Who's there?
I did, Ruth Erickson, thank you. I did tell the Top Hatters motorcycle group, so they were aware of the motorcycle event. Plus, I did put a big poster in the, I forget what it's called, the place that's across the highway where Indian motorcycles are.
Cardinal Road.
No, not that.
The old Honda shop.
The old Honda shop,
Wow.
right there.
Hollister Power Sports.
Hollister Power Sports. I did put a big poster there because of all the motorcycles. So a lot of them were aware.
Yeah.
I think more importantly, if they get an invitation from the committee, that means more than just seeing a poster. Just seeing a poster doesn't invite them to participate. And you really want to feel brought in. So I think that's the point that I'm trying to make more, is that you really want to reach out to the people.
Yeah, well, that has been a deficiency for years, and you're right, it's the deficiency, we don't get that done. So,
Another comment I have, on Saturday, we only had five transient airplanes that weren't show planes, and Sunday we only had two
Yeah,
up in the
exactly.
and that was it.
well, that weekend was Columbia, and I believe that hurt us also.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the earlier you get your date stable.
One of the comments that I got was lack of hand washing at the porta potties.
Were they just not there at all, or,
There.
because I paid for them?
One was not working, I know.
Okay. The problem with those things is they run out of water in 2 hours.
It was dripping. It wasn't.
So maybe I need to double those.
Or we just need to have it serviced.
Well, eliminate the bus and add port potties.
It kind of all boils down to that, doesn't it?
What was the, I heard a concern about security letting people in without paying.
We did have an issue with security, which I'll go into more depth in August, because I'm still waiting for that to be final. I believe that I have that resolved, but I'm waiting for it to be finalized. So, but there was an issue.
Just saw another speaker card was in there. Was that for this topic?
Yeah, air show.
Okay.
Go ahead.
David Leonardo, Gavilan Aviation. I really believe that we need more than just one thing pulling people to the airport. A car show, I'm in agreement with Mike, that a car show and motorcycles is a big draw. And it draws more than just individuals, it draws families. And that's kind of what I think we want here. So anything, it's too bad that we had to worry about competing with what they had across the street. And I was invited to take my 57 Chevy to their, they wanted me to go take my car over there. And I was hoping that we were gonna have one here, park mine, gladly park mine here. But I think the motorcycles are important. And like Ruth said, that she invited the top hatters and 1 or 2 or 3 guys, because there were a couple of bikes I saw coming and going, but the club as a whole would have come to see the show and shine, if you will. I've seen other venues that have cars and motorcycles and vintage and old tractors clickety and the different things you see, and all of that is a draw. So that's kind of my concern. I will say it's Sunday, understanding from a pilot's perspective why we lost a whole line. Ruth came to me and said, "What? They're leaving? What happened?" But there was you could see the front. There was a front coming in, and here's the problem: they had no clue of this beautiful microclimate that Hollister has, whereas I've seen that so many times where it gets here and kind of breaks up, and that's exactly what it did. But it did look like it was going to sock us in, and if we were locked in at 11 o'clock. The airfield closes down and doesn't come back up till 4 o'clock, is that correct? So they would be stuck, and a lot of people wouldn't be able to get home. So they got in their airplane before the air show started and left, before the field closed. So that was part of it. That's something that you
you're never going to be able to forestall that. But as far as drawing people, Saturday was a horrendous breach. I didn't know if somebody had a different idea of how the air show is going to operate, but I just seen people just pouring into that gate. It's like they abandoned the gate, and just people were pouring into there.
Oh, the double gate there?
Yes, sir, the one going
Yeah.
right out that direction, yeah. And because they park here, but they just kind of meandered through, and it was open, they walked through. Now, I think they did a pretty good job of getting to come by here to buy tickets, but the people that parked on the other side, I think they just kind of wandered around the buildings and just kind of wandered right into the gate.
And there
On
was
Saturday.
nobody to say you gotta go get a ticket.
Correct. Nobody there guarding the gate. Flat out, nobody guarding the gate.
There
So
were
I
people.
didn't know about that, but I know, and I did talk to Mike about that, and he was aware of it. But I will say that Sunday it was locked down tight. In fact, somebody tried coming through our office because we keep it locked during that weekend. Because everybody wants to come through ours, and they're just looking around, then they go out the gate, right? Or they go out, go out our door. So we had our lobby closed, but somebody must have been a pilot or someone that knew the code, because he hit the code in and opened up the gate, and him and his entourage of 5 or 6 people proceeded to walk through that gate. But Sunday, a gal, I don't know who she was, came running around, and she was like right on him, and she stopped him and figured it out from there. But so I definitely all for advertising, focus on what works and what doesn't. I did see a number, because I watch Channel 8 because it's my local news. But Channel 8 advertised it a number of times. I almost want to say it was like every day
Yeah.
that at the 5 o'clock news.
5, I thought.
At 5, the 5 o'clock news, that I was seeing it just about every day. And it was a camera view from Vicky Benzing's airplane, because I recognized the extra 300 with the, and the flight that so it's actually a good ad. Hollister Airport. It's just, I don't know if there's other things going on with Columbia and whatever. I like the idea of somebody said that fly-ins, that we need to focus on making this a destination. So with fly-ins and the different clubs, and there's a lot of clubs, we need to maybe focus on that. But 'cause that's the name of the game, is the draw. But it was. I commend you and everybody that was involved in that. I think it went down nicely. I think it was the best show that I'd ever seen. I'd like to see more, maybe World War II related stuff. There was an air show at one time that we had that flat, what do they call it, 6-track or whatever the thing was, and Jerry Gabe had his Jeep with the gun mounted, and and stuff like that is just nostalgic and wonderful, but so I'd like to see some of that, but all of it's a draw. That's the name of the game. So thank you. Good job, everybody. A lot of work done for nothing. I mean, when I say nothing, nobody got paid. I said that wrong. I think I said that wrong. There was a lot of work done by volunteers. That's the problem. Yeah, for no pay. I mean, what I mean?
Et tu, Brute?
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on the air show? Next is Building 20 update.
So everybody came in, walked through Building 20. We moved last week into our new digs that are not complete. The timing of the move was we need to get this building under construction for the hangar door that's being installed in the back. That's going to take approximately about 3 weeks to complete. We need to be out for the new tenant by August 1st. So our plan is to be out by July 4th and turn it over to the contractors to do the work. So we've been delayed a couple days because we have to use our shop for the 4th of July, but once that's done, we'll be up and running. So all in all, I think we're just a little bit behind schedule, but not too bad. As far as getting our building complete, we're working on it diligently. I worked on it all day today. I didn't get to work on it at all yesterday because I had to go be city hall person all day, but it'll get done, and I think I'm pleased with how it appears. I haven't heard any bad things about the way it appears, so that's where we're at.
I have one question. I guess it's related to this. I know it'll tie in with Fire Station 3 later, but with this tenant coming in, are they concerned at all about the lack of pavement in the back?
They are very concerned about that.
So maybe you'll cover that now or later?
Well, I can't afford to pave it, and as part of fire station number 3, it's supposed to get paved. So they're gonna have to wait till that.
So, I mean, they understand the situation,
Yeah, they're aware of it. I can tell you that we actually are gonna have to buy some pavement in the front for a ADA spot before we get a final
in front of this building,
in front of our building.
in front of your building.
Yeah, because of the improvements. They trigger it.
Okay, thank you.
I don't.
Anything else on building 20 update? Any questions? Okay, 8D is budget.
The budget was approved as presented, and we're actually on schedule. So the budget was approved, I want to say, June 16th.
You have like a bottom line, how big a budget it is? I know we saw it, but we don't remember
Well, it's $750,000 for the airport and $4.5 million for the runway project,
Okay.
and $60,000 for the air show.
Okay, any other comments on budget? Cal Fire.
Cal Fire, I talked to them. They said their project's moving. That's all the information I have from them.
This is concerning moving the other side of the airport?
That is correct. We did do some preliminary, well, not preliminary, we did do the geo work for building the taxiway that runs out in front of their place when we were out here doing geo work for the runway project. So that is complete.
The construction time,
I don't have one.
They don't have a schedule.
I have to find the right person, and I have not found him recently. I should be in a position to see him on July 10th at the intergovernmental meeting.
what I was talking about is the construction time for Cal Fire to actually build up.
I don't have one.
Probably this.
Their lease expires in 2049.
I'll be gone by then. I guarantee you that.
Okay, anything else for Cal Fire? AIP number 16.
That's the runway project. The grant has been, grant application has been submitted. We are awaiting the FAA to say go, and we'll release the project for bids, get the bids in hand, and get the grant awarded, and be in position to start hopefully September, October timeframe.
And this is so far just the north end of the runway.
That is from Delta North. And the timing was starting in September, October is to solve the drought. Because we all know once we plow up the runway, it will rain for 40 days and 40 nights. And the drought will be over, and we won't be able to replace the runway until 2015 or 16.
Probably kind of you.
Just the way that stuff works.
All the coring's been done, it's all complete.
Coring's all done.
Good to go.
Good to go.
All right, fire station number 3.
As you're aware, the plan is to build a fire station next door to us. That plan is sitting at the county waiting for them to pull the trigger on it. I do not have a current update of where it's at, but
For the county, not the city.
the county.
Okay.
The intention of the fire station is to cover primarily the north part of the county.
Okay.
So the county has decided that they want to build a fire station to do that. We were required to perform an analysis on the best place to put it. The best place to put it is 156 and San Felipe Road,
Right.
which would require a $4 million investment for a fire station plus the acquisition of the property cost. The county doesn't have that much money. So the second best place to put it is right next door to us, because property needs to be renovated before it can be rented again. It will be a lease for the airport. They'll provide coverage to the airport, and it's really only another 30 seconds to the perfect spot. So all in all, it truly is a win-win for both organizations. It's just a matter of the county getting their work done.
Yeah.
Anything else on that topic? Okay, item 9 is new business, which currently is blank. Is there any new business otherwise? No new business? It's amazing when you post these things 3 weeks at a time. Anyway, okay, items for next agenda.
And your director actually takes a few days off.
Air show updates.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, we did a new chairman. Did we get a new vice chairman, or is there such a thing?
I think I
Like,
did that by default.
Past chairman becomes vice chairman or something?
I believe I am.
That's correct.
It's
default.
just automatic.
Unfortunately.
Air show updates. Building 20 update, I guess.
Yeah.
Sounds like,
Well, if there's any new status on the fire station and or the grant for the runway upgrade.
what's that?
If there's any change in status on the runway
Right,
and also.
AIP
the fire
16 and fire
Yeah,
station 2.
AIP 16.
right.
Couple things that I was planning on adding is I have a electric vehicle replacement grant to tell you about.
I was thinking about that golf cart sitting out there in front for sale.
Well, that's about what it is, but it's a 4x4 golf cart on steroids with a dump bed for free if we get it.
Sounds like price is right.
Is that sort of like that donation that we made to the police department?
No, this is from the air pollution control people.
Oh.
No, you're not dropping my new electric car. And then what else did I need to tell you about? I can't remember right now. I'll get it in there.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have anything for next meeting? I see our next regular meeting is going to be August 27th with July 23rd canceled. Can you refresh my memory why
I'm going to be out of town.
you're not going to be here? Oh, that's a good reason.
July.
Tony can handle it though.
Okay, next regular meeting will be August 27th, 2014, presumably back at the City Hall. And I guess that's it.
If I need to call a special, I will.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carries.